Hi guys, this is Josh McClary from Bloomington, Indiana. You know, if I only had a couple of seconds to talk to anyone and everyone on earth, I'd say, look guys, it's time to wake up. And what I mean by wake up is evolve, okay? That's the hard part. You guys were inside of something and everybody doesn't want to talk about it. So maybe this sci-fi artist, farmer, Generation X guy can come up with something to tell you. Hell, I don't know. Let me try. Look, first and foremost, I'm looking at my board over here. See, I'm a sci-fi artist, and I'm also a farmer, and I've learned to take the two of them and put them together because, in the end, sci-fi is just the story I tell myself that I don't know already about science. And I guess what I want you guys to know is there's a lot of information that science gives us already, and we're just not looking at it because we're trained to stare at our phones and drive around in our cars and take pills and do whatever. I'm sorry, we are. This is a cutting board that's been in my family for a long, long time. All right, gee, many Christmas. There it is, the cutting board, Indiana, state of Indiana. Okay, we've got a planet. Okay, we've got a sun. Okay, we've got a moon. All right. Now I'm going to put those into context for you. What we have here is we have a source of information, we have a processing station for information, and we have an anchor for what the information does. All right. So it's time. Okay. So that's an anchor for time. And this anchors our time. Okay. Now listen to me. I want you to believe me. This is all science. I'm going to back it up again. Information source, information processor. This is the anchor. Okay. So what this does is it creates the sensation, the arrow of time. Okay. Now I want you to believe you can call any of this God, but we have processes for God. So people get so nervous once they start to learn how processes work. God can use a process. But don't ever, ever learn the process and then say, but I believe in God, so I can't understand that process. That's going to get you in trouble. Okay, so listen to me. Here we are. Here we are. Even when your brain is thinking about whatever horseshit you have inside of it, you're still inside this. That's the good news, right? You're still inside this thing. I'll swear to God, that's the good news. Okay, the bad news is up until this moment, you forgot it. Now, I'm not even kidding with you. This is real. Now, if we were thousands of years ago and I started telling you all this, you would probably kill me. Okay, but now that I tell you this, you do have to know that it's real. But at the same time, you're dismissing everything about what this reality brings to you because now we have what's called a false boundary tensor. Okay, all right. Let me back up. I'll just a false boundary condition at this point. We'll call them false boundary conditions. All right. Let's talk about the right boundary conditions. The good news is everything is simple. All right. Now, inside the processing station, what comes in, okay, what comes in, the quanta of information, oh my goodness, quanta. The quanta of information that comes in gets turned into information, okay? Data, information, all right? Now, I'm just explaining it to you in words. This is not exactly what's going on, but it is scientifically the words that we could use to explain it, okay? But this situation here, the information is turned into three things always, okay? I want you to remember that. It's just how it is. It's three things. And it's a sphere, a biosphere of three, okay? A biosphere of three. What are the three? Well, they're air, they're water, and they're food. The spheres that attach to those idea collapses, those information collapses, those three-dimensional, three spatial, one time dimension concepts in your visible light reality now. Okay? That's atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, biosphere, living sphere of the rock. Okay? It's all alive. All right? It's coming from this. It's understandable. Okay? All right? Everything that comes from this gets broken down into three things too. Okay? This is electromagnetic information, and we've got the strong and the weak nuclear force that creates with gravity. Gravity's not a force, gravity's the force, okay? Gravity's all around us, just like in Star Wars. But don't line up gravity with the three forces of nature. It's not the same thing, okay? And you're going to need to remember that in the future. All right? hopefully that any of this is something I'll show someone. But what I just told you is literally what is happening, okay? Everything in reality needs to get pumped through the biosphere. If it's pumped outside the biosphere, you will geometrically end up outside the biosphere, inside of the multiverse of your choosing, while you tell yourself, what's going on? What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. You're squeezing your own reality out, okay? Gravity is reducing your options to getting to the future, okay? What you would call your state space, all right? Okay? Your phase state is eating your state space, all right? Your money, your tech, and your oil, the three things that are wrapped around your brain and giving it weight, are eating yourself, your air, your water, and your food. It's clever, okay? It's clever. I can explain it even more, but I want you to believe that that will always be true. And until we point our systems, all of our systems, as fast as we can, back to what we should have done when we realized that we were eating our air and water and food, we will continue to eat our biosphere, all right, since we have no concept of how time actually works. And when we arrive into the futures that we have consumed that gravity will not let us get into, we will narrate our downfall. Furthermore, this is extremely similar to what it would be like if this little thing had a brain and decided, I don't want to follow the sun anymore, I've got a better idea, okay? We would immediately narrate, oh shit, it's cold, okay? Now listen, waking up, anybody that tells you to wake up or you're woke or starts giving you shit about this, all of life is a waking up process. I don't know what's going to happen when I die, okay? But I do know this. I'm designed to figure out how to live on this thing with one another, with the human beings that are around me. If I make up a plan using my money and tech and oil that puts me in a hole somewhere or off on an island by myself, I'm telling you, I'm not harvesting myself inside this thing. This thing wants me to harvest and find myself inside of time while I'm becoming one another, the system of us, okay? It's not designed for a bunch of gremlins to wake up or go to sleep inside it, burn it down, and tell themselves, well, this is how it's done. Not at all. That's it from Josh. Love you guys, okay? We've got to find the love, the courage, the wisdom to get back to the self. I never said it wasn't going to hurt, but I'll tell you what is going to hurt if we don't do it.